Morning, folks. I hope you're all well on this fucking freezing British November Saturday morning. Now, I've just finished watching the long-awaited, well, it was long-awaited for me anyway, rematch between Katie Taylor and Amanda Serrano, and I wasn't disappointed. This was a wonderful fight. Wasn't as good as their first fight, but rematches seldom are. But I thoroughly enjoyed this one. Now, I had the fight 95-94 to Serrano. It went to Taylor by unanimous decision. She got it 95-94 on all three judges' scorecards. Now, I had it 5 rounds apiece, but obviously Taylor lost a point in the 8th for headbutts. And now I will say this. Now, I haven't got a problem with Taylor getting the decision. It was close. There was some very close rounds in there. I just felt that Serrano did more. I really felt she did more. Just slightly, like I say, I had it a draw, but because of the point deduction for the right of the headbutt, I had it to Serrano. However, I will say in some of the rounds that I gave to Taylor, I was kind of torn. You know, I'll have to watch it back again to see if that, you know, if I had the commentary on as well, and they were very pro Serrano. There were a lot of Puerto Ricans in the house, obviously, supporting Serrano, so they're very loud. They weren't very happy with the decision. You're going to get that, you know, that's to be expected. So I will watch it again, probably without the commentary. Sometimes if the commentary is very biased, as I felt this commentary was, I tend to go towards the opponent purely because if it's a close round. So we'll have a look. Opening round, a bit cagey, but sort of quite late on, I believe. Amanda Serrano landed a left hook, which actually buzzed Katie Taylor quite badly. A bit like when she hurt her in the first fight, I think it was the 4th or 5th round. And Taylor was really sort of shaken. And I thought, oh, you know, this might be quite interesting. Taylor battled back. She was holding a lot in this fight. I would say I found Taylor very dirty in this fight. I'm not implying that she's a naturally dirty fighter, but her last 2 fights, like last year, the rematch with Chantel Cameron, which she won, I said then, a year ago, that she was fighting dirty. I felt Katie Taylor was fighting dirty and was using the head a lot and holding a lot then. And I was a bit critical of her. And I'll say the same this time. She was very naughty with the head, and she was holding a lot. I felt the referee should have been a bit more on her case about the headbutt. I mean, there was an accidental head clash in the 4th, which opened up a nasty cut over Amanda Serrano's right eye. And I felt that one was actually accidental. They were both coming in. You know, I didn't think there was anything intentional about it. But later on in the 8th, when the point came off, that looked pretty intentional to me, and there were some other ones that were intentional. Now, that cut was fucking horrendous, and I was amazed it wasn't stopped. I thought the doctor was going to stop that, or the corner were going to stop it, but they didn't. Amanda Serrano's fantastic. She's one of my favourite female fighters. I mean, I love Katie Taylor as well, but Amanda Serrano is something special, in my opinion. They're both special, but I think Amanda Serrano is something very special. And they both fought their hearts out. I mean, Serrano was stalking a lot and was firing a lot of punches, but Katie Taylor was always firing back. There was no give in both girls. Women. They were both, they were both ready for war, and they went to war. Absolutely fantastic. And I just thought, I had it a draw, like I say, but because of the point, I thought Serrano deserved the win. Just my opinion. And of course, when it went to Taylor, 95-94 times 3, the crowd weren't happy. As I said, a lot of Puerto Ricans in there, totally understand. And obviously, because of the headbutting and the holding, obviously people don't like that. People get pissed off with that, and rightly so. So I totally understand that, why people weren't happy with that. So I can see why people, I mean, I've seen the usual thing. It seems to be a weekly thing, people screaming robbery. I wouldn't necessarily go that far to say robbery, because there were some close rounds. I will have to watch it again, and I'll watch it with the sound off, which I usually do. I had the sound on last night for some, I don't know why. I think it was just on. My wife was there, my dog was there. You know, it's a bit odd sometimes sitting there when you've got people there and it's quiet. You know. So yeah, I wouldn't mind seeing the third fight. I don't think it'll happen. I mean, obviously Taylor's 2-0 in this rivalry. I would imagine Taylor will probably announce her retirement now. She'll probably vacate the. I mean, she's already vacated the lightweight titles. Um, Obviously, she's undisputed. This was for the undisputed light-welterweight titles. She'll probably. I would imagine she'll gradually vacate those over the next few weeks, months, whatever. And I think she'll go. I mean, she's 38 now. I thought she was past it last year. I didn't think she'd win the rematch with Cameron, but she did. And yeah, I thought she might go out then. But fair play to her. I mean, the first fight with Serrano was major. Yeah, it was a real savage war a couple of years ago, and I thought, well, you know, she doesn't have to take it, but she did. Give her credit. I'll take Katie Taylor credit. She doesn't duck a lot of people. Anybody, in fact. I mean, obviously she struggled with Delphine Persoon in 2019, and she gave her a rematch in 2020, and you know, a lot of people thought she lost that fight. I thought she lost that fight against Persoon, but she won the rematch. Same with Cameron. I mean, she lost her only loss officially. Obviously, it depended on your opinion. A lot of people thought she lost the first Serrano fight. I had her just nicking the first Serrano fight because it was very close, and this one was close as well. I didn't necessarily have a problem with Taylor getting the decision at all. Yeah, it didn't bother me. Yeah, I wasn't outraged. I just thought, due to the point deduction and some of the dirty tactics, that Serrano should have had it by a round. But whatever, I had it a draw either way. You know, without the point deduction, it would have been a draw on my card. Great fight. Both women are absolute warriors. They're absolute credits to the sport. Absolutely fantastic. Earlier in the evening, I saw the Mario Barrios Abel Ramos fight. That went to a draw. That was a good fight. It wasn't an absolute classic, but it was very entertaining. Very, very entertaining scrap for the WBC welterweight title. So Barrios obviously retained due to the fact that it was a draw. Wonderful fight. Good fight. Obviously, since Crawford's gone up, obviously he's vacated the belts, and they've all been picked up by various people. It's not a particularly strong division, welterweight, at the moment. It's open for somebody to just swoop in and kind of take over a little bit. But no, good scrap. I expected Mario Barrios to win this one. Not easily. I mean, no fight's easy, but I expected him to win it quite comfortably. But it went to a draw. I wouldn't mind seeing it again. You know, it was very, very entertaining. Now, I'm not going to talk about what I believe is the exploitation of a washed-up, older, former heavyweight champion in Mike Tyson. I didn't see it. I turned off as soon as the Serrano fight was over. Serrano-Taylor was over. I have no interest in seeing it. I've seen the result. I've read a few things online. And I think it was a disgrace that this was even happening. Mike Tyson was washed up in 2005, nearly 20 years ago, when he last fought professionally. When he lost to Kevin McBride, and the year before that he lost to Danny Williams. You know, these are two guys that Mike Tyson would have eaten alive in his prime. And his prime, if we're honest, was probably 30 years ago. You know, over 30 years ago. He was washed up when Lennox Lewis beat the shit out of him in 2002. So how anybody thought that magically prime Mike Tyson was going to turn up for this one, because this is all over. I was so sick of the Jake Paul thing in the build-up, because that's all I've seen the past few weeks on my Twitter feed, on YouTube, on fucking Instagram. That's all I saw was Jake Paul, Mike Tyson, constant. You couldn't fucking get away with it from it. And I'm so glad it's over, because I'm sick to death of it. I didn't watch it. I had no interest in it. You know, if you watched it and you enjoyed it, that's up to you. I don't give a fuck. You know, who am I to tell you what to enjoy? I mean, I'm just me. I'm just giving my opinions. But this was a disgraceful cash grab exploitation of someone who is well past his best. And from the pictures I saw, he had a fucking leg brace on, for Christ's sakes. I mean, the guy's 58. He's a grandfather, and yeah, he's had issues with substances, drugs and things, and alcohol over the years. He's probably suffered multiple concussions from all the fights he's had over the years. And his body, he isn't what he was. He's 58, for crying out loud. Jake Paul is 27, 28? He's a young man. The fact that anybody wanted to see this just boggles my fucking mind. It was only because of the undercard that I watched it. I was there for Taylor and Serrano. Nah, it's a disgrace. In my opinion, it's a disgrace. You might think I'm talking shit and I don't know what I'm talking about and I should lighten up, whatever. Fair enough. That's your opinion and you're entitled to think that. But fuck me. Why anybody thought this was a fucking good idea, I have no idea. It's crazy. Absolutely fucking crazy. And how anybody could be pleased that Jake Paul won that one. So what? Okay, oh yeah, he beat the former heavyweight champion. Yeah, a former heavyweight champion who is 30, hadn't fought for 20 odd, nearly 20 years professionally. He had a fucking, an exhibition against Roy Jones 6 years ago. Well, it's an exhibition, it doesn't mean fuck all. And Roy Jones is an old man as well. Christ almighty. And there were people, what baffled me, was there were people who were supposedly experts and supposedly learned and know what they're talking about. As Roger Mayweather said, people don't know shit about boxing. There were people in recent years saying that, oh, if Mike Tyson came out of retirement today, he'd beat all the heavyweights that are there now. He'd beat Fury, he'd beat Joshua, he'd beat Dubois. Fuck off. He couldn't even beat a fucking glorified Disney star. You know what I mean? It's crazy to me. Yeah, and let's not forget that former Disney star lost to Tommy Fury, who's barely a fucking professional boxer. He's a glorified reality TV star, in my opinion. Just because he's the brother of a former heavyweight champion means shit. He's a reality TV star who happens to be a boxer at the same time, you know. Anyway, I might be being a bit harsh, but it just fucking drives me mad. People are fucking idiots. People who follow this shit and support this shit are the problem. They really are. Now, don't get me wrong, I've got nieces and nephews who are big Jake Paul fans because they're children. The average age of them is about 14, 15. I try to educate them on professional boxing. Obviously, being in my family, both grandfathers, my mother was a big fight fan, my dad was a fight fan, my sister's a fight fan. We try to educate these kids, but of course kids think they know everything, don't they? Anybody out there who's got teenage kids are morons. They think they know everything. You know what I mean? They watch a couple of YouTube videos these days and they think they're experts on something. But anyway, I've gone way off the topic. That's just my opinion, folks. Don't have to. Who gives a fuck what I think? Who cares? But that's just what I think. Anyway, enough out of me. I hope you're well. I'll be back tomorrow to talk about the Chris Billum-Smith, Zurdo Ramirez fight, which I'm looking forward to. Take care, folks. I love you all, and I'll speak to you soon.